Good morning and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news. And let me fix the camera one more little bit. We almost have it. We're so close. Wrong button. I think that'll do it for today. So, when we were out basically at the conference, I had a whole bunch of, obviously we changed a bunch of things in the camera and I'm trying to get it sorted. Look at this cool, look, here's the reason to go to a conference. Hive OS has t-shirts at conferences and that's the only place they have them. So if you want bad A t-shirts with like whatever this eagle bird thing with Hive in the middle is, you got to go to a conference. All right. It's pretty sick. Drink some water. So, I am still sick. I retested today. I got the vid. So I'm going to try to get through it today again. We have minor releases as always. And then, of course, the big topic today is going to be Google choosing Coinbase for basically their cloud services payments system, which is pretty crazy, obviously, to pay for cloud services in cryptocurrency. And we'll be going over that, as well as some user numbers within the Metaverse, which are extremely low as 38 people per day. We're going to be talking a little bit about NFTs, cryptocurrency as a whole versus cryptocurrency and the path that it took over this past bull run. Will that be relevant here in the future? I posture potentially not. We're also going to be talking about the hash rate for Bitcoin hitting an all-time high for the third time in October. And that is still amidst a lot of Bitcoin miners shutting down and basically filing or showing that they are reporting losses for the past few quarters. And we are going to be talking about the price cuts for AMD Navi, the RX 6900 XT, etc. So we're going to get into all of that and more right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is BT Miners. Purchasing mining equipment online can be dangerous. With all of the fake storefronts and scams, it can be hard to find a reliable source. That's why when BT Miners reached out for a channel sponsorship, I started by verifying that ordering and delivery went smoothly with the purchase of my own. If you are looking to purchase ASICs hardware from Bitcoin to Dogecoin miners, they are available for purchase on bt-miners.com. BT Miners is a trusted source by both ASICMinerValue.com and CryptoMiner.com. Follow the affiliate link in the description and tell them SOT sent you to support the channel. All right. I cranked up the ISO a little bit more, and so I think that's going to be good. All right. So first things first, we have BZ Miner version 12 coming out 18 hours ago. And all the technical difficulties today. Well, we'll get through it. Keep pressing on. So what's in this release? They added Radiant, the new coin Radiant. We have talked about Radiant before, so BZ Miners added support for it now. They added ETHW as well. And they added the new coin that Mr. Red Panda has been all about lately, the Meow coin. They also have a new optimized combo for ETHW plus Radiant, ETHW plus Caspa, Ethereum Classic plus Radiant, and Ergo plus Radiant. They allow for a clock offset and locked clocks, indirectly controlled voltage. Higher intensities for second algo in dual mode now possible. They did a lot of work here. Stabilized overclock switch between ZIL and other algos. Added the overclock script option for changing AMD OC on ZIL switch using third-party software. Added ZIL support for easel. Added ZIL estimated time for next window. Added support for K1 pool, ZIL only, fixed ICSI and ZIL or plus ZIL, and fixed other plus ZIL bugs. Added new table column option, P state, keep windows from sleeping. Improved auto fan features, stay exactly at specified temp. Added precise config.txt loading error messages. Warning when the backslash is specified in file names rather than double backslash on Windows. Lock overclock does not change when generating DAG in the dual and triple mining configs or configurations. Disable logging to file by default. Fixed console output. Fixed auto protocol detection for 2 miners. Removed escape key listener on Linux, and fixed unlock clocks not working with reset all overclocks. And they fixed the hash pool fixed hash pool for Caspa and some other stability fixes. Lots of work being done in the BZ miner space. Good to see. Obviously, in the bear market, I always like to say it's time to build, and always, I mean, at least this bear market. And I think there is something to be said for that. Right now, it's time to go ahead and be building towards, gaining new skills in the space and learning more. Obviously, the developers that are working on mining applications like this, they're adding a ton of different coins, smaller coins that would maybe like previously not get as much support. And I think that that is important to take into account because of the bear market, right? And that means that really, if people are trying to figure out what the next ETH is going to be for GPU miners, we don't know yet, right? And from the miner perspective, mining software perspective, from the GPU mining perspective, it's a wait and see kind of situation. And so seeing more and more support be added by BZ Miner is a welcome thing. And hopefully, we see that happen with all the other miners. We have been seeing it a lot with LOL Miner, etc. So I expect this to continue. And as long as development from this perspective continues, I think that GPU mining definitely has a hope in the future. So next we're going to talk about the 6900 XT selling for $669 in the US. All right, and welcome back. I had to go ahead and blow my nose real quick, so let's actually get into it though. AMD's Big Navi gets big price cut, and the Radeon RX 6900 XT is now selling for $669 US as RDNA 3 launch approaches. AMD's big Navi GPUs, such as the 6900 XT, are continually getting some big price cuts ahead of the launch of the 4090. And also the company's own RDNA 3 GPUs. AMD's next generation lineup is closing in on launch with a full unveil planned for the 3rd of November, which is just a few weeks from now. And the most recent GPU from the company is the 6950 XT launched earlier this year. Now AMD is dropping the price of the 6900 XT to just below $700 US. This isn't an official AMD price cut, but rather a retailer-specific price cut. Almost the entirety of high-end GPUs from NVIDIA and AMD have seen their prices crash immensely over the past few months after the mining and PC decline. The RTX 3090 series saw more than a 50% drop in prices versus the MSRP since the RTX 4090 is on the verge of launch, and the same is starting to happen with RDNA 2 high-end cards. XFX, one of AMD's custom GPU partners, revealed the price of 2 of their graphics cards, the XFX 6900 XT Speedster Swift 319 and the Merc 319, on the online retailer website Amazon. The 2 cards offer 3 exhaust fans for efficient heat dissipation and retain the company's black colorway on each. The Swift 319 retails for $689 USD. And the Merc 319 sells for $10 more at $699 USD. Newegg, one of the largest PC retailers and component sellers, is offering the ASRock RX 6900 XT Phantom Gaming D for $20 less than the Swift 319 is retailing for at $669. Prices are also lowering in the European markets as the 6900 XT has been spotted to sell for as low as €736 since January of this year. The cost of the lowest price Radeon RX 6900 XT graphics card has dropped by over €1,000. It is unknown if the price will continue to drop further in the following months after NVIDIA and AMD's next generation graphics cards are released. Now, I would presume prices do come down more as we get, closer and closer to the release of the new GPUs. Now, my plan was to go out and get the GPUs from Micro Center tomorrow and test them. But unfortunately, I cannot go anywhere as to not risk anybody else getting sick. So I will not be doing that. I'll be trying to order what I can online. And if you guys want to help me out and finding stuff that can get shipped to my house so that we can get a review done in a timely fashion, or if you know a way that we could get that done, hit me up on sonofattech.locals.com and hit me up in the messages there, or on, of course, Rocket Chat, Twitter DMs. I won't leave open, but just tweet at me and I can add you there. I'm going to be trying to get those GPUs for testing all the algorithms, but right now I'm not going to be able to go out and get them. But we do have the 4090 coming out. We also have tomorrow, as well as we have the Intel Arc series, the A770 and 750s launching tomorrow. Those I'm more interested in than the 4090, specifically for mining, because they have low power consumption, big buses, lots of memory bandwidth, and I like big buses and I cannot lie. So there you go. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Of course, the 4090 will be fun to test in things like Radiant, Caspa, etc. But this is kind of where we sit. That being said, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Bitcoin mining hash rate as it skyrockets. Yet everybody that is trying to mine it seems to apparently be shutting down, merging with other companies, or just completely getting acquired by other companies. And, this one's not as bad, right? So Block Fusion's crypto mine in Niagara Falls shut down due to zoning ordinances. So not necessarily like going out of business or anything. As soon as the city's moratorium on the industry was lifted, Block Fusion was ordered to shut down over zoning issues. Now, we did an interview with Clark Vaccaro, who basically runs works for a company. Sorry, he's the mouthpiece for a company that does essentially lobbying for the Bitcoin mining industry in this area, specifically New York State. And we did talk about the moratorium and some of the stuff surrounding that. This is obviously not good. I would like to get his opinion on it. Let me know if you guys would like me to have him back on specifically regarding this, because this is a pretty big update, I think. And it is going to basically weave in the environmental argument against cryptocurrency mining, specifically proof of work cryptocurrencies. And I do think that what we're going to see, I think we mentioned this yesterday, but you have basically cryptocurrency and you have traditional, finance and nation states that maybe don't want cryptocurrency. So there's two attack vectors, right? From the proof of stake perspective, the attack vector is essentially going to be classifying it as a security and putting it under regulation under the SEC, then utilizing the location and the amount of nodes in their based locations to determine jurisdiction over those. And then on the proof of work side, the attack has been by and large, the environmental impact, even to the point to where it completely ignores the environmental impact of similar industries in similar geographical locations. So this is a very important fight. The city of Niagara Falls in New York State, which has been the epicenter of a fight over Bitcoin mining and its impact on local environments and communities, ordered miner Block Fusion to shut down its operations, citing violations to the city's zoning code. Bit Digital, a mining firm that hosts 17% of its machines at Block Fusion's site in Niagara Falls, received the notice just 4 days after a moratorium on the industry was lifted on September 30th, the firm said on Tuesday. The notice ordered BlockFusion to cease and desist from any cryptocurrency mining or related operations at the facility until it complies with city zoning laws. The notice actually came into effect just a day after the moratorium was lifted. The hosting firm is applying for new permits, a process which might take months, BitDigital cited BlockFusion as saying. Neither BitDigital nor the mayor's office could be reached for comment at the time of publication. In December of 2021, Niagara Falls implemented a moratorium on Bitcoin mining so the city could figure out rules involving the industry. The state of New York passed a similar measure in June. Residents are upset about noise coming from the Bitcoin mines, especially one run by US Bitcoin Corp, which is close to a residential area. The BlockFusion site suffered from an explosion in May, such that BitDigital's machines went offline. Power was restored to the site in September, said BitDigital, and I remember reporting on that not too long ago. Ooh, boys, it's tough time getting through this today. Not gonna lie to y'all. We forgot to do a lot of things too, but that's okay. All right. Essentially, what has happened here is that the moratorium was lifted, but then they shut them down via zoning issues. And this back and forth is really getting quite interesting. And it doesn't end there, though. Bitcoin miner Greenridge expects Q3 losses of 20 to 22 million amid CEO departure. CEO Jeffrey Kurt resigned from his position effective October 7th. Bitcoin miner Greenridge Generation Holdings expects to record a GAAP net loss of between 20 and 22 million for the third quarter. In its preliminary financial and operating results for the quarter, Greenridge reported expected revenue of around 29 million compared to 35.8 million for the corresponding quarter a year ago. The mining firm also announced the appointment of David Anderson as its new CEO following the departure of Jeffrey Kurt effective October 7th. Anderson was most recently president and CEO of Miller Western Forest Products, an Alberta, Canada-based integrated forest products company. Greenridge mined approximately 866 Bitcoin during Q3 compared to 729 Bitcoin during the same period last year. Gree shares sunk about 24% Monday, closing at $1.32. In pre-market trading today, shares are currently up 5.3% at $1.39. The Bitcoin network's mining difficulty has surged according to latest data, which shows it now requires 35.6 trillion hashes to mine one Bitcoin, an increase of 13.5% compared to its previous measure. This means it's costing miners larger sums to extract new Bitcoin at a time when the value of the world's largest crypto is treading water and high energy prices are adding to their costs. Greenridge's preliminary results follow London-listed Bitcoin miner Ergo Blockchain being forced to raise $27 million last week to ease liquidity pressures, and mining data center provider Compute North filing for bankruptcy. Obviously, par for the course. This is something that we've been, monitoring over the whole year. And I think we are really, this is a sign that we are getting pretty close to the bottom. We're getting to the point to where, an S19 XP Pro is, maybe at this point making less than $1 a day. On Bitcoin, it's even worse. Unless you have control of some sort of renewable energy or energy product or some sort of energy production, or if you own an energy company or you're a nation state, it's pretty much unprofitable completely to mine Bitcoin. And even the margins for the people that are building out these large facilities and working with power companies, et cetera, they're kind of starting to get into a position where they clearly in the previous bull run over leveraged themselves, and we're starting to see like the companies that were not doing well start to collapse. And I think this, at the end of the day, I think this is a good thing. Like, I think that we need to see more mergers and acquisitions. We need to see large companies get pushed out. And we obviously need to see that on the GPU side too, which we could talk about as well. But I think that we need the bottom to come in hard. It's come in pretty hard already, but I am starting to think that that idea of November to December bottom may prove out to be true. Typically, historically, like October, and all of this clearly is not financial advice, but historically, every year, October, Bitcoin does okay or pretty well. So if we look at that and we're hitting October in a bear market, maybe we expect, Bitcoin to kind of trade sideways through the entire month and then see some sort of bottoming out in November or December. What that number is, I have no idea. But it's clear that there's a ton of pressure on a lot of these large miners. And the Bitcoin hash rate is only going to increase due to the winter months coming in and the cooling. So as everything cools off and more power, more hash rate is able to turn online, the margins are going to get even weaker. And I just don't think that a lot of the companies are going to be able to survive. A lot of the smaller miners, 1 megawatt and below, are probably also going to be in a position where they get priced out unless they're on completely renewable energy. Let's talk about that though, because obviously this is an all-time high for Bitcoin hash rate. And I think we will see the all-time high here in October. So I would assume as things cool off in October, like I said, the hash rate's going to skyrocket. It's going to become so increasingly unprofitable that you're going to be in a position where a lot of companies are going to shut down. Not financial advice, of course, but this is what I see happening, seeing that we're going off of a summer-winter cycle now instead of the rainy season in China cycle. So while the markets plunge in response to the anticipated interest rate hike, Bitcoin's hash rate has reached an all-time high. As per the data shown on CoinWars, Bitcoin's hash rate reached 325 exahash a second on the 11th of October at block height 758,138. There we go. Although Bitcoin's price seems to be tumbling, the hash rate seems to be moving the other way around. The new all-time high comes a week after the previous peak, a week prior on the 5th of October. However, at press time, the hash rate dropped to 281 exahash a second. Now, remember, due to the way that the Bitcoin hash or the Bitcoin difficulty adjusts, of course, we won't see it fully reflected in like what to mine calculators or mining calculators until next week, maybe not even until 2 weeks from now, probably next week sometime. And I think you could expect essentially to be seeing, an S19 Pro making less than 50 cents a day after power at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. There are several reasons why Bitcoin's hash rate might be increasing. Firstly, it could have something to do with the falling of prices of GPUs. The global chip shortage in early 2022 was a cause of concern for not just miners. With the chip shortage problem seemingly at an end, rig prices have consequently gone down. This might have led to more miners joining the network. The second reason could be an increase in crypto-friendly regulations in many areas. Kazakhstan, Canada, and Germany, among others, have become favorite spots for miners to set up their operations. Many new miners from the aforementioned areas have also joined the network. And then they say that thirdly, Ethereum's move to proof-of-stake consensus method might have pushed ETH miners into Bitcoin network, leading to a surge in hash rate. I kind of call bullshit on all of this. I think it's way more simple than this, guys. It's way more simple than this. The chip shortage, sure, but the chip shortage for a very specific reason. The chip shortage was happening at a time when everybody was trying to purchase Bitcoin miners. They were making purchases last year for miners that weren't going to be ready until October this year. Remember, like, do you guys remember us talking in like August, September, October, you know, all the way, I think as early as like June or July of last year, that mining companies were putting in orders for Bitcoin miners that weren't going to be produced until October or be available or actually deployed until October of this year. That's the number one thing. Miners were not being produced. They were being purchased, but not produced. This is also why, frankly, you see a bunch of miners going underwater. Why? Because the price of the miners during that time that weren't even available for you to start mining on, they weren't going to be available for you until now, were worth 300% what they cost now, right? So that's why you're seeing essentially a bunch of over-leveraged miners purchasing equipment that's not available until now, back in 2021. That's the largest contributing factor if we look at this just completely objectively. Second to that, you have site development issues. So site development, as it pertains to cryptocurrency mining, is basically like getting in all of your power, your building, figuring out like regulations, all that sort of stuff, like developing the site, right? You got to get water, power, whatever, all that sort of stuff done. Obviously, power being the primary factor here. You got to make sure that you're in an area where the power generation is available, that there's going to be enough for the building. And then you got to like allocate that. And then you have different things like you could have in front of meter or behind the meter negotiations, all that sort of stuff going on. Site development and has also been at a standstill due to the reduction in the amount in the workforce, as well as supply shortages across the board. So for materials for building, etc. So a lot of the projects that were getting started, you know, last year were not getting finished up until this year, right? And even those, a lot of those are even getting delayed and pushed further and further down. And then third, which is very clear to me, is that we have completely shifted off of the Chinese weather into Western weather, right? And so what has happened here, Western world weather, United States, we're looking at a summer-winter cycle, meaning that the hash rate is naturally going to go up in the winter when the colder weather is here because it's easier to run rigs, right? Not to mention also in a lot of areas in the U.S., at least like southern states, Texas, where a lot of the hash rate power is, energy gets cheaper in the winter as well. So if you looked at like a contract in Texas, for example, and you're not like cutting like some other specific deal, but most power purchase agreements will have an option to essentially have a summer price and a winter price. So you'll pay more in the summer than you would in the winter, because essentially reverse kind of like in Texas, what you would see in Canada, right? Where essentially you pay a lot more in the summer because you need more AC running, etc. So it's more of a strain on the grid, right? Either way though, cooler weather means more hash rate. That's just always the case. So that is why we see that coming into play here. So the reasons that they're kind of giving out here as far as the falling prices to GPUs, no, that doesn't make any sense. Ethereum miners moving into Bitcoin mining, possibly. But at this scale, doubtfully, right? So we had kind of talked about this last year. I was like, should we move into it? Then I got a couple crypto miners and I realized that, first of all, they're not very reliable, most of the new ones. And then second of all, their margins were so thin that it was nearly impossible to compete. And I was kind of like, eh. That being said, we could point to evidence of like Bitsby tripping shifting to Bitcoin mining. And then potentially maybe like Hut 8 kind of leveraged out of that, but they more moved into high powered computing. So possibly, right? But, and then the last one, I guess I could agree with would be, I guess they said essentially, crypto-friendly regulations. Kazakhstan is now being more friendly, but that's primarily because Russia is giving them money to mine with, right? So thanks to sanctions, essentially, right? Traditionally more restrictive governments are embracing cryptocurrency. In an odd turn of events, what we have is essentially, Russia, who would not be pro, individual sovereignty or financial freedom, that sort of stuff. Not necessarily their forte, right? Or whatever. But because of sanctions, etc., are clearly getting into it. Now they're kind of running a weird proxy hash rate war, right? Russia's basically, it's going to be hash rate wars. At the end of the day, I really do think that this is going to be something that's going to get really interesting. But the hash rate war, it looked like for a long time China was winning it. And then China was like, no, we don't like this. We want our own central bank digital currency, which we could get into that too. Because we're probably, clearly we've always had currency wars. We're just going to have CBDC wars here soon. But once that moved over, it kind of like the hash rate wars started moving over. The US got it. And then now we're starting to see, basically in a weird turn of events, up to 16% of the hash rate going to Kazakhstan, but through funding from Russia, which we discussed last week. I think you should definitely go rewatch that and pay attention to that clip, because this is kind of the direction in which our world is moving. All right. While an increasing hash rate means that the Bitcoin network is more secure than ever, it doesn't reflect the same in miners' ability to earn more incentives as mining gets more difficult. It does, right? It says it doesn't. Okay, I see. Never mind. So according to the data on blockchain.com, network difficulty also reached an all-time high at 33.739 T. Now that's important to take note of, though, because that's due to the hash rate increase on October 5th, not the hash rate that we saw now on October 11th. So it does have more to go. Furthermore, miners' revenues continue to move sideways than upwards, right? So here's from July, kind of sitting here. All the data that translates to more difficulty to mine Bitcoin and less revenue for the miners. This could potentially push miners to shut off their rigs if profitability becomes an issue. Doing so would gain or would again decrease the difficulty, prompting them to turn on their rigs once again. Nonetheless, Bitcoin's price continues to plummet as investors brace for another interest rate hike from the Fed. At press time, Bitcoin was trading at 19,000, down by 1.2% in the last 24 hours. So they think the Fed will affect price of Bitcoin. I think that it could be an interesting timing. Like I said, I think if we look at yesterday, we did it, we'll do it again. If we look at the S&P 500 over the past year and the Dow Jones over the past year, and then we look at Bitcoin over the past year and the way the markets differ, it's pretty clear that Bitcoin has been trading essentially sideways since about July, right? June, yeah. June 18th or so, somewhere around there after the last big dip in June. It's pretty much been going sideways, maybe a little further down, but not anything crazy. Whereas, if we look at the Dow Jones over the past year, sure, we saw a similar dip in June, right? That initial reaction, but then it kind of recovered back up and then it came back down even further. Not dissimilar, from the S&P 500. So if we look at these two, they look pretty much identical. Pop over to Bitcoin, it doesn't look identical, see? So there is definitely something to be said for Bitcoin doing something a little bit different. Now, historically, if we look at the cycles completely, and not financial advice, but we would say November to December would be the bottoming out of Bitcoin. If that times itself perfectly with, of course, another significant rate hike from the Fed, a majority of the retail investors are going to basically say that Bitcoin completely correlates with the markets. This could be actually extremely good news if you are aware of the difference between it being correlated with the market and what the actual factors of it are, as far as the cyclical nature with the halving. Could put yourself in a good position. So it's something that I'm definitely paying attention to. And I mean, adoption isn't lacking, right? So we have from Google here, Google joins hands with Coinbase to accept crypto for its cloud services. Now, do I support any of this, right? Like, all of this is basically like, from a fundamental principled standpoint, gross, right? You got Coinbase, which is a centralized exchange, partnering with Google, the king of evil, and utilizing centralized cloud services, like basically utilizing a centralized exchange to pay in cryptocurrency to pay for cloud services. They're just trying to steal your crypto, boys. That's what's going on here. Don't fall for it. Though through its recent collaboration, Google demonstrates its support for cryptocurrencies. Crypto adoption has been on the rise among global nations. Several industry giants are also tapping into the potential of Web3. Earlier this year, the team at Google unveiled that they were building a team to provide services for blockchain developers. The tech giant previously held a pessimistic view of cryptocurrency sector since it would not allow crypto advertisements on its platform. Google, however, disclosed in June of last year that it was revisiting the policy and would start to enable them. Earlier this year, the Google Cloud division also disclosed that it was assembling a team to assist its clients in meeting their cryptocurrency needs. The business said it was investigating how clients might pay with cryptocurrencies. Google stated on Tuesday that it would tie up with Coinbase to allow crypto payments for cloud services. The tech giant revealed that it will let customers pay with crypto in early 2023. The announcement was made by Google at the Cloud Next conference. The new collaboration will help the tech giant stay ahead of competitors in the game. The platform will initially allow a few users to pay with crypto with its integration with Coinbase Commerce Service. The feature will be extended to several users over time. Currently, the Coinbase Commerce Service accepts 10 cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Doge, ETH, and Litecoin. Jim Migdal, Vice President of Business Development at Coinbase, stated that discussion has been going for several months. Google is also looking at how to use Coinbase Prime for securely storing organizations' crypto. The move by Google will attract several crypto enthusiasts. This is due to the fact that several users prefer payments with crypto as it is cheaper and faster. So obviously, like, we are seeing essentially everything kind of move into centralization. My question would have been, why, like, the best move, I think, for someone like Google or a cloud provider right now, the best move, in my humble opinion, would be to offer some sort of staking services for Ethereum. Like, already AWS has like the full concentration of it, but like, if you want to control the nodes, man, like, if I was Google or Microsoft right now, I would be looking at ways to like be like, hey, we're gonna get into the node business. We'll give massive discounts on running nodes, because running nodes essentially is going to require running a virtual private server, but create basically a special price program. That it says, you know, if you basically host with us, we get a percentage of your cuts, but you don't have to pay anything or something like that. If I was a large cloud service, that's what I would be doing, because as soon as you can get all the nodes on your services, I think you end up controlling Ethereum. I think that's how I would play it if I was evil. Oh. You guys get it? That's the play, bro. I'm telling you. It's lonely in the metaverse. It's lonely in chat today too, boys. Or it's been lonely on the YouTube channel this week. Not gonna lie. We're down a lot. It was lonely at the conference. I was looking at pictures from the NFT con as well. The Cardano NFT con. Looked like some lonely rooms. The sentiment is rough. We're getting close to the bottom, I think. And you know, it's sad days out there. We're gonna see what survives. That's what we're about to see. Are you gonna survive? Am I gonna survive? Is the metaverse gonna survive? Are NFTs gonna survive? Right? It's lonely in the metaverse. DApp Radar suggests that Decentraland has 38 daily active users. And that's in a $1.3 billion ecosystem, my friends. Data from DApp Radar suggests metaverse platforms Decentraland and the Sandbox each have fewer than 1,000 daily active users despite $1 billion in valuations. The platforms say these numbers don't tell the full story. I mean, dude, don't they though? I mean, like, kinda, right? Like, maybe a little bit. Look, if World of Warcraft had 38 daily active users, it wouldn't exist anymore. All right. Look at, like, who wants to hang out in this? That looks like trash sauce, bro. That's why, like, whenever some people are like, play NFT games, I'm like, they suck. Like, build a good one and I'll go play it, bro. What's going on in the metaverse these days, you might ask? Looking at two of the biggest companies with over $1 billion valuations, one data point suggests that users may not be returning every day. According to data aggregator DApp Radar, the Ethereum-based virtual world Decentraland had 38 active users in the past 24 hours, while competitor Sandbox had 522 active users in the same time. It's important to note that an active user, according to DApp Radar, is defined as a unique wallet address interaction with the platform's smart contract. For example, logging onto the Sandbox or Decentraland to make a purchase with Sand or Mana, each platform's respective native utility token is counted as an active use. This means that DApp Radar's compilation of daily active users doesn't count people who simply log in and interact with other users on a metaverse platform or drop in briefly for an event, such as a virtual fashion week. Okay, fair enough. So, which obviously, like, get your marketing team on this, you idiots. So we're going to give you the caveat of, like, basically people that, like, that an active user is somebody who is transacted within the world. Get your marketing team, well, get your IT team, I guess, first to actually track real active users that are logging into your platform and advertise that, you dummies. What's wrong with you? It's like a bunch of kids got into, like, cryptocurrency and started doing shit and they don't know how to handle it. Or, come on. We don't need the excuse after the fact. Fix it. Dear Lord. It also may mean that fewer transactions like buying or selling a non-fungible token take place on these flat platforms than the number of people that visit. The largest number of daily active users ever on Decentraland was 675, according to DApp Radar. For the Sandbox, the number was larger at about 4,503. Sam Hamilton, creative director at Decentraland, disputed the way DApp Radar tracks daily active users on the platform. DApp Radar doesn't track our users, only people interacting with our contracts, he told CoinDesk, adding that the platform had 8,000 users on an average per day. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Maybe it's just DApp Radar reporting it. And then good job, Decentraland, on doing that. Remember what WoW did? Which was like, here's what you got to do. All right. Here, look, I'll just tell you how, on your website, right? We'll go to like Decentraland, right? Let's go to decentraland.org. Look at that. I already have it saved. When I go to your website, right? I go, boom. Like right here, put like join 8,000 other individuals in this crazy virtual world, right? Let me know that other people are doing it. There's a marketing strategy for you right there. Join 8,000 other people in our premier metaverse. There you go. I'm still not going to play because it kind of sucks. I tried it. He noted that while Decentraland saw peak attendees in March, the number of tourists and spectators has since cooled down. We are finding the core community of people returning every day is growing. According to Hamilton, the numbers of users on Decentraland can be more accurately observed by looking at a dashboard built by the platform's community. Let's look at this dashboard. DCL metrics. Okay, nice. I like this. See, like, look. October 7th, 7,000. Oof. 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 See, though, like, take this number that you're pumping out here, throw it on the main page when people go there. This is unique visitors. Yeah. What does a 90-day look like? Peak was almost 11,000. That's not bad. So if we looked at like Steam stats, for example. So let me pull this up because this is interesting. I wonder if I can get here Steam charts. Yeah. Can we get there from here? I'm looking this up. So if we looked at like, why did they change the way this shows up now? I'm gonna need a new chart. I want to see the most played. Here we go. Boom. All right. So what is that comparable to? We got to go pretty far down, huh? All right. So, I mean, we're talking about, Smite, Sea of Thieves. I mean, but in reality, we're talking out at this point out of the top 100 active users on Steam for an individual game. Something like that. Anyways, kind of interesting to look at that. All right, so according to Hamilton, the number of users on Decentraland can be more accurately observed by looking at a dashboard, which we just looked at. And we looked at all the unique visitors, so we're good there. Following the publication of this article, Decentraland tweeted it saw 1,074 users interacting with smart contracts in September. It also logged 56,697 monthly active users, noting that Decentraland Foundation's definition of an active user is people who log in and then move out of a parcel. It added there might be discrepancies between DCL metrics and Foundation data. The sandbox also disputed metrics used by DappRadar to measure daily active users on its platform. CEO and co-founder Arthur Madrid told CoinDesk that DappRadar's metric only reflects transactions between users of a primary NFT sale and not other forms of meaningful engagement. In addition, he said that the sandbox measures active users by looking at numbers of metrics, including their usage over time and retention. An active user is a user that connects over a period of time. He explained, a daily active user is somebody that connects at least once a day. Imagine that you only track the number of people paying for something at a cashier or at a shopping mall. He said that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of passerbys. Yeah, but I mean, just in the world that we live in, just to be clear, like, because this is kind of what I do for a living. Nobody cares about my passerbys and views. They care about who clicks to pay for something. I don't know. I'm just saying, we could have 234 people active here. Only 90 people hit the like button, which is a pretty bad click through. One person sent a super chat, and I have no idea how many people clicked the ad. But the only thing that Google would care about is how many people click the ad. So if we translate that over into the sandbox, the only thing people would care about is the amount of people that interacted with a smart contract. I'm just saying. Also, thanks for hitting that like button. I thought that was a good segue. Was that good? I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty clever. Anyone telling you that there's a metaverse today that has worked is lying through their teeth, says Fleshy Man. Flesh Man. I'm going to call him Fleshy Man. I like that better. Beverage company Snapple's pop-up bodega in Decentraland last August sparked questions about mainstream use cases for promotional content in the metaverse. In July, skater Tony Hawk announced his virtual skate park paired with an avatar collection in the sandbox, which aims to bring fans from his $1.4 billion Tony Hawk Pro Skater video game to a new, more interactive platform. Set to run from October 19th to 23rd, the turnout of virtual skaters might be larger than the users purchasing Hawk's NFTs in sand. Here's my question. Is going to his virtual skate park in Decentraland going to be as fun as playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater? Because I bet it's not. I bet it's going to be boring AF. And if there's any skating mechanics, they're going to be trash AF. And it's not going to be fun. Because what most of these things are is rich people, well, previously rich people showing off their digital assets that they paid too much for on the NFT space. That's really what it is. And without good gameplay mechanics, there's no reason for people to care, especially in a time when you have a collapsing economy. Right? I mean, I'd much rather just go plug in Tony Hawk Pro Skater Remake and play that with my kids than go sit in sand for 3 hours trying to I don't know what, virtually jerk off Tony Hawk. No thanks. Block subsidiary Spiral mining tech firm Brains spearhead push for Bitcoin mining upgrades. Some good news. I saw some Brains t-shirts out at the conference last week. It was pretty cool. The firms are part of a working group pushing for the adoption of Stratum V2, which promises to increase the Bitcoin network's censorship resistance and decentralization. Block subsidiary Spiral and Bitcoin mining tech provider Brains are spearheading a working group to promote the adoption of updates to the Bitcoin mining pool protocol. The upgrade is the second version of the Stratum protocol, which is used by most miners to control how mining machines connect to pool servers. Bitcoin mining pools aggregate the hash rates of many miners and distribute the rewards across the participants. Stratum's second version, V2, promises several improvements on the protocol, including censorship resistance and allowing miners to choose their own work, instead of being assigned workloads by pools, which in turn could increase the Bitcoin network's decentralization. This is what I want to see. That's much more exciting than Decentraland or Tony Hawk's BS. Brains, which is the firm behind the world's first mining pool, formerly known as Slush Pool, released the first version of Stratum in 2012 and V2 in 2019. Brains itself implemented V2 in early 2020, but adoption through the rest of the industry has been sluggish. The working group will focus on building and sharing tools for all mining companies to quickly and seamlessly upgrade to Stratum V2, the company said in a Tuesday press release. Crypto financial services firm Galaxy Digital, crypto mining and staking firm Foundry, crypto exchange BitMEX, and Bitcoin education program Summer of Bitcoin support some of Stratum V2's key developers, who are in turn a part of the working group. Spiral and Brains invited interested parties to participate in the group in their press release. Foundry is owned by Digital Currency Group, which is also owns CoinDesk. Miners know the benefits of Stratum V2 very well, but pushing the mining industry over the remaining development and adoption hurdles is a big task, said Brains co-founder Jan Kapik in the press release. Now, to their point, adoption of this is going to be basically nearly impossible because people are lazy, and as we've seen in the past, all the hash rate just moves somewhere and it just stays there, right? We see that when we look at coins on, pick one, right? It literally doesn't matter. Pick a small coin. What's the number one pool that's always there? R-Plant, XYZ. Why is that? People are just too lazy to do what's best for them. Like, we are stuck in a world of convenience to the point to where we as miners, as cryptocurrency miners, are too lazy to even distribute the network hash rate in a manner that benefits us. This could be dead on arrival. It's super cool. I think it's amazing. I'm glad that they're moving towards it, but we've seen it already before, right? What happened to Peta Pool, right? I mean, at least Monero pushed it out, but that was on Bitcoin first. Just went away. Part of it's laziness, sure, like I complained about. Part of it's cutting big deals, right? Sure. Part of it's money and capital. What is the likelihood of this? I don't know. Probably low. The working group released the first version of an open source Stratum V2 reference implementation for testing, according to the press release. Reference implementations in software development are usually done by the developers of a product to showcase how it can be put to use. Other firms can either implement that code or use it as an inspiration for their own implementation. SRA is meant to test the interoperability of all implementations. Brains Chief Marketing Officer Christian I can't pronounce that name, told CoinDesk. A new, more robust version of the SRI would be, or with more functionality, will be released in early November, the press release said. Universal standards for running and building Stratum V2 and the efforts of this working group to push the industry forward will provide the momentum Bitcoin needs to finally upgrade from a version of its mining protocol that was built a decade ago, Kapik said. Spiral, under Jack Dorsey's block, which has pledged to make mining more decentralized, supports 3 developers of Stratum V2, Matt Corallo, FI3, and Pavlinex. Other core contributors are Rachel Rybarsix of Galaxy Digital, 4SSO, who is pseudonymous developer financed by Foundry, Chris Coverdale, an independent developer financed by BitMEX, and Lorenzo Bonazzi of Summer of Bitcoin, according to press release. Now, adoption has a much better chance here when you get a name like Jack Dorsey and Block behind it, so there is always hope at the end of the tunnel, and I apologize for my rant, but it is always frustrating to go look at the hash rates, see potential 51% attacks on small coins, know that I run a GPU mining channel, and I don't mention it near enough. The hash rate needs to be more dispersed, more spread out to basically benefit all of these networks and the security of these networks. And when we move closer and we have options to further decentralize, right, that aren't a hindrance, of course, to your profitability, which is the biggest argument against it, for some reason they still fall through the cracks and they aren't utilized. So yes, there's a little bit of frustration that goes into it. Let's go ahead and hop into mining profitability, speaking of being frustrated for the day, and we'll get into that right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is BT Miners. Purchasing mining equipment online can be dangerous. With all of the fake storefronts and scams, it can be hard to find a reliable source. That's why when BT Miners reached out for a channel sponsorship, I started by verifying that ordering and delivery went smoothly with the purchase of my own. If you are looking to purchase ASICs hardware from Bitcoin to Dogecoin miners, they are available for purchase on bt-miners.com. BT Miners is a trusted source by both ASICMinerValue.com and CryptoMiner.com. Follow the affiliate link in the description and tell them Soat sent you to support the channel. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So first things first, we got what to mine pulled up here. And we got the RTX 3090 at, well, we got to correct the hash rate or the cost kilowatt hour back to 10 cents. Corrected hash rate on ZIL hash. Kapow, ProgPal, and Firo proof of work. And as always, nothing's profitable. Currently on what to mine, losing 18 cents a day on Rio. I guess the least non-profitable. Losing 22 cents a day on Bitcoin Z. Losing 26 cents a day on Conceal. Losing 26 cents a day on Vertcoin. Losing 29 cents a day on Flux. Losing 32 cents a day on Ravencoin, losing 34 cents a day on Meowcoin, losing 34 cents a day on Ergo, and, you know, we got to scroll down pretty far to get to Kaspa and Ethereum Classic, which are at 46 cents a day a loss and 47 cents a day loss at 10 cents a kilowatt hour, respectively. Now, everybody asks it, so we'll just get it out of the way. When do I think that we'll start to see some things become profitable again? Not until at least March of 2023. And that is, of course, not financial advice, and I have no experience in this field whatsoever, so don't listen to me. Let's go ahead and talk about mining pools and the hash rates that are going on. Start with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's at 267 exahash a second. It did have that big pump up. It's come back down, right? So we're going to have to sit back and wait. Obviously, the first initial bump up to 250 exahash a second. The difficulty's in. We'll have to wait another week for the difficulty to come back up. Let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum Classic is at 166 terahash a second. Ethereum Proof of Work is at 42 terahash a second. And Ethereum Fair is at 6 terahash a second. No real changes. Flux we expect to be around 8 mega solutions a second. It's at 7.43 mega solutions a second. And if we look at Ergo, we're expecting around 50 terahash a second. Bada bing, bada boom, 50 terahash a second. And then if we go down even further, I guess we could look at Kaspa, which is at 112 terahash a second. And it is in the green, which is surprising. And what else do we got? I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. We could look at Ravencoin. And it's still sitting right around the same. So no huge changes going on there. ASIC miner profitability, the Antminer L7's in first place. Still probably around $15 a day if you merge mine. Antminer Z15 in second at around $9.10 a day. You got the Antminer D7 at $8.21 a day. You got the iPolo G1 at $7.56 a day on Grin. You got the iPolo V1 at $6.30, or basically $3 a day actually. And then let's scroll down to the real ones. KD6 at $4.76 a day. And the S19 Pro back over $1 a day thanks to Digibyte, something to pay attention to there. But we're getting really close to that 50 cents a day on BSV. It's probably less than that on Bitcoin right now. In fact, let's go ahead and click in and see what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Yeah, under 50 cents a day already. 37 cents a day. Wait, losing 37 cents a day after 10 cents a kilowatt hour. There you go. All right. Let's go ahead and get into questions and answers for the day. Remember, super chats are never required. Always appreciated first to be answered. Tagging @SignOfAttack will highlight the message orange, making it easier for me to read. And I will probably keep them pretty short today. Unfortunately, not a great turnout this week that we've had. I think taking some time off last week was rough, and then being sick, I'm not streaming on my regularly scheduled program. But that's okay. We'll be all right. We got it. Ham Solo says, @SignOfAttack, true fact, my ex-girlfriend made the intro video to the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. Was she just too good for you after that? Is that why it's an ex-girlfriend? Condolences, my man. Sebastian says, @SignOfAttack, you got some fiery takes on the Metaverse stuff today. Glad you enjoyed it. 10 times more has left the stock market this year alone than the entire crypto market cap right now. Yeah, I've been showing that every day. Chris Hanley says, yeah, I just want to see if you're feeling better. Nope, I still tested positive for COVID. Gonna be, I mean, yeah, it's been, it's been a rough few months now at this point. Not gonna lie. Been sick a lot. I'm just trying to maintain, dude. Theodore coming in with $100 super chat. It means a ton, dude. The community's been amazing. I mean, even as the community gets a little smaller or whatever, the community's been amazing. So thank you, good sir. The super chat says, love seeing your crypto conference vids. Almost no other GPU mining channels never do this, and it's something I always wanted to see. Well, hopefully next time I can go and not catch COVID. Also, I have to learn a lot more about my camera. Even yesterday, did you guys notice, if you watched the live stream yesterday, it was doing this weird thing where when I moved, the whole brightness of the freaking scene would like change. It would get like dark and then bright, and like, so the exposure was just like, it was auto exposing everything. It was wild. I had to fix it. It's fixed. I think it looks good today. You guys let me know. But the conferences are extremely expensive. I'm not as good at recording them. You know, I'll have to figure out, like, the community, you guys helped me get out there and go there, obviously, and covered a majority of it. Huge shout outs to y'all. So that covered it, but it is extremely expensive. And I think we missed a couple of big topics, and I need to do a better job. I got sick like day 2 though, as well. I think it was day 2. I don't know. I started getting a sore throat the first night, I think. It's amazing. Chili, it's good to see you in chat. Make sure you guys go follow Chili and check out the video I did with him as well. You're not too far away. We got to go down to Micro Center. Of course, I got the vid. I tested today again. I'm still positive, so I can't go to Micro Center tomorrow, unfortunately. I don't want to be that asshole. Chadwick, thanks for the $5 super sticker. Oh, EJ says, that's something like, what are you mining at the moment? A community member stood up a Radiant pool and needed help, so I'm mining Radiant on his pool. Well, I mean, yeah, it's all fixed now. See, it's not doing it. I can tell. I got it right here. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. Like, so I found going out to a conference is extremely difficult because you are bumping your camera settings all the freaking time. None of my profiles were getting saved. Sometimes, like one of them, like the interview with Mr. Chili over here, Alex, my lav mic wasn't on, which is hilarious because the lav mics would auto turn their screen off. So I would look at them, but you couldn't check to see if they were on. The lighting and exposure on the interview with Clark Vaccaro got all effed up. And then the lighting and exposure on the Antminer, that was probably the best video so far that we've posted. But the lighting could have been a lot better there. It's a lot of respect to people that go out and do like the stuff out in the world. In here, I've gotten okay at it, right? I get my camera settings set up. I have basically two profiles. I have one to do this stuff with, and then I have one to do my B-roll with. Bing, bang, boom. Load it up, lock it in, done. That's where I'm comfortable. That's probably where I'm going to stay because we don't really have the money to get a camera crew to help me out with the rest. I'm not too stupid and tired to do it all. Yeah, but it's extremely difficult. It takes a lot of practice. Wild T. Wilson, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, I know no financial advice, but what do you think will be best to mine for the future? Nothing. Can't predict that. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. I have no advice or thoughts or opinion. All I've really found is that every cryptocurrency except for Bitcoin has a people problem, and the people are a real problem. You know what I mean? And Flux has a people problem. Ergo has a people problem. Everybody, all these projects have a people problem. Funny enough, how do I put this? Ergo likes to say they're the spiritual successor to Bitcoin, but they have a people problem. So you can automatically say that's not true. In fact, Ethereum Classic would have less of the people problem than Ergo would have. Especially now that you don't have to worry about Hoskinson anymore, I suppose. I don't know. It's something I've been contemplating a lot, especially after because if we want, because this is also a lot less about, especially in a bear market. I don't know. You have to wait. I become a lot more of a Bitcoin maxi the older I get in this industry. People problem is basically developers sitting in top controlling things that are happening to the network, right? Which there's varying levels of it. With Bitcoin kind of having the least amount of issues primarily because it has the most amount of hash rate. I don't have the money to get it right now either, Chili. The hotel and everything is too expensive. And my sponsor didn't pay me. So Supposed to get paid last Thursday. I didn't get paid. So I was going to use that to do the reviews. So it works out. I have COVID and I never got paid. And they won't reply to my emails. So and Paula says, that's time to take. What price point are you looking at for? I'm not buying shit. I don't have any money. Like, the BC 160 or the, what are they? The MI 125s under $100 are interesting right now. I'm not buying 3070s, not with the 770s and 780s coming out. But genuinely, I'm not buying anything right now. I have to like move an entire farm out of a failed building and like deal with that shit, right? So that's not, I got other shit I gotta figure out. I'm not buying anything. I can't even run, like, why would you buy stuff if you can't even run the rigs that you have? You know what I mean? Like, I get buying stuff in a bear market to prepare for a bull run, but if you don't even have a place to power up the rigs once you hit another bull market, then like, basically my priorities are completely shifted. I can't buy any more equipment. But I probably wouldn't buy 3070s for more than $300. That'd be like the max, right? W. Wilson, $2. Things turn around 2023. Why? No, they don't. We're headed into friggin' World War III, bro. What are you talking about? Plus, this halving cycle means that you got to wait till 2025 for the next. Like, if you're talking about like Bitcoin going up in price, not going to happen until 2025. So, nothing turns around 2023, right? That's just a fact. And I don't think anybody's going to sell their GPUs either, by the way. I don't know. Not for the right prices. It's too many people bought too many GPUs at the top of the market. Like $1,000 3070s or whatever. Gamer Kid says, that's time of tech. I look at crypto as more of a poor person stock market. It's not even correlated. And you would have been better off since June of this year. You would have been better off buying Bitcoin than anything in the stock market. So, the people with a lot of money that are rich, probably, that bought Bitcoin instead of stocks, are probably doing better since June. And then if you look at like, the fact is, guys, we're literally going through a recession right now. EJ says, that's Samatech. All I know is Django needs to do more push-ups. I don't know if he could. I thought maybe he was vegan for a little bit till we went to eat. What's up, Django? I was like, this dude's vegan, isn't he? I was like, he probably eats crickets. Have I talked about Zen? No, I don't think so. Unboxing project. Sorry, I hopped on the call. Did your answer why you stopped running a mining pool? No, but I stopped running a mining pool because the risk to reward is too high. First of all, we had the largest Rio mining pool through like a bull market, and it never really made any money. Because the fact of the matter is, to be the largest pool on a small coin, you have to have really low fees. And if you have really low fees on a low coin, then you're not really making that much in the first place. And then you have to worry about getting hacked, and you got to stay up 24/7, and you got to update the nodes. It's absolutely exhausting and it's really not worth it, right? Like if you want to do a crypto mining pool, I mean, I don't even think that like, I don't know. You have to be large already too. I mean, it's clear, like we've talked about this before, but like the fact of the matter is everything's going to be on 2 miners or Hivon. Nothing will ever move off of them. Look, I'm wearing a Hivon shirt. I love Hivon. I love Hive OS. It's nothing against them. Fact of the matter is, it's just centralized. Like the deeper and deeper we get into all this, the more clear it becomes that it's just centralized. Especially GPU mining. Like we don't have any control. You have zero control over the mob mentality. Like you just don't have any control over it. I know like that sounds defeatist, but I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling a little defeated as far as all that goes. Like I can preach that we need to distribute the hash rate all I want, but it's never going to happen, right? Like we did like the Ethereum merge tests, and we moved how much hash rate? 100 terahash out of a petahash, maybe. You toil away, you work at it, you try to be, you try to adhere to the fundamentals, you try to stand by your principles, and really all that this market does is shit on you and encourage you to put Raven or Ergo or ETC in your name and shill the fuck out of it. That's all this market cares about. And if you don't do that, you're a terrible person. Just like kind of done with it sometimes, to be honest. Dan Sand says, at Simon Tech, does Bitcoin is Bitcoin is the only not managed by human crypto? Well, Bitcoin's unique. So Bitcoin's unique in the fact that we don't know who the creator is. And the creator's wallet's never been touched. So when I say a people problem, like Ethereum has Vitalik. Cardano has Charles Hoskinson. Ergo has Kushti. Ethereum Proof W has Chandler Go. Ethereum Fair has Justin Sun. Like Flux has Daniel Keller. So when I say Chia has Bram Cohen. When I say like the people problem, when you tie the praise of a project or your expectations of a project to a person, I think it creates a unique situation where that project is compromised. Does that make sense? So if we do look at like, one of the things that I really, really like is like, I like Dogecoin from a transactional perspective. Because Doge has the missing founder now. Even though we kind of knew who he was, kind of. Sean Voltes says, at Son of Attack, I bought a 5800 X3D from you. Have you had a chance to ship? I need to go do that. Well, I can't do that. But I'll ask my wife. The kids move it? No. Yeah. I got it all packaged up. I'll shoot it out to you. Apologies for not getting that out. The last 2 weeks got a little crazy. All right. I am going to get it. I'm going to get off here because obviously being sick and streaming is not great. We covered all the topics I wanted to cover today. I do want to get more deep into probably like what I think is going to happen with NFTs in the future. I have some like fun, more F around content planned. I just got to get better. And then I probably won't be talking or have cam on much, but I don't know. I am going to be just probably playing WoW all day. We'll have that over there. Thanks for understanding, Sean. Apologies again. Yeah. And I just realized that this is a 5950X. Hold on. I was like, that's a 5950X. I have a 5800X 3D in here. 5950X there. If somebody wanted to buy a 5950X or a really nice ASRock Tai Chi B550 motherboard, So 7900 XT isn't launched tomorrow. It's the what? The 4090 and the 770 and 750 or 780 and A770 and A750. All right. I'll see you guys over on Twitch later, maybe. Thanks for hanging out.